as children of God, we would answer this question absolutely no. I'm not conforming to this world. I have not allowed the world to mold me or to shape my behavior. I have not allowed the influence of the world to control the way I think, live, and act. But notice that the influence of the world has become so prevalent to us that many of us are conforming and don't even realize that we have conformed. For instance, if you have gotten to the point where wrong seems right, hello in here, and right is just a matter of opinion, you have conformed into this world. When you start to think that fornication is just having relations, you started to conform to this world. When you think that adultery is just having a significant other, and that, everybody's doing it, so it must not be anything wrong with it. When you start thinking like that, you are conforming to this world. When you start to think that lying is just merely harmless, all you're doing is just stretching the truth a little bit, you're conforming to this world. When you start to think that gambling is just being sociable, you are conforming to this world. When you start to think that jealousy is just me having a bad vibe about somebody, it's just something about them I don't like, and you brush it off, it's just being that, and not recognize the fact that you have ill will in your heart towards somebody, you are very well conforming into this world. When you start to think that covetousness or being stingy is just keeping what I got, I'm saving up for a rainy day, you are conforming to this world. When you think that cheating on your taxes is just a good business practice, bro, preacher, all I'm doing is keeping what belongs to me anyway, then you are conforming to this world. When you start to think that being a busybody is harmless, you are conforming to this world. When you start to think that gossiping is just getting the 411, then you have already conformed into this world. Many of us have conformed to this world, not even realizing that we have conformed. The problem is we've allowed the high definition images on our television screens to cause us to accept some things that God would not have us to accept. We may not participate in it directly, but whenever you tune in and watch it to the degree that it starts to influence your behavior, then you have very well allowed the world to mold and shape the way you think, act, and behave yourself. For instance, many of us won't admit it out loud. If you watch your behaviors, take a look at yourself. Just step out of yourself and just evaluate yourself. And you will be surprised to discover that many of us have actually began to think that it's okay to be a desperate housewife running around Las Vegas looking for sex in the city. Come on. The closer we try to get to Hawthorne's cold case, we realize that what we missed in the first 48 hours was the leverage that we needed to get the housewives of Orange County together with the housewives of New York, to take with them the housewives of Beverly Hills to the real housewives of Atlanta, to the real world, just to see if they would obey the road rules. Well, when that didn't work out, you realize that Megan wanted a millionaire so badly that she was willing to be punked just to have one. And when that didn't work, Judge Alex confronts Judge Karen about her view today on Good Morning America, because he had heard that E. Hollywood had reported that Moby Porridge was texting that the results were in, and that Judge Mathis was the father of Whitney Williams' unborn child. Oh, how you doing? And that she wanted little Gregory to live the lifestyle of the rich and the famous. But Judge Mathis said that that was a deal and a no deal, and that he was waiting for the verdict to come back for the civil suit that he filed in the People's Court to see if any of them are smarter than a fifth grader, because even he realized that they only got one life to live. Don't tell me we're not allowing what we watch on the high definition screens to control the way we think, the way we act, and the way we behave ourselves. What the Apostle Paul here is encouraging in the Church of Christ at Rome is that they don't allow the world to conform. Don't bring your way of thinking into the pattern and into the harmony of those in the world. Don't be molded or shaped into what the world is. Because the world is a dangerous place. 1 Peter chapter 1 and beginning at verse number 13. Notice what Peter says here. 1 Peter chapter 1 and beginning at verse number 13. Peter says, wherefore gird up the loins of your mind. Be sober and hope to the end for the grace, listen to this, that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. This is the reason I can't afford to conform to this world. I've got some grace that I already realize I am a recipient of God's grace. As a matter of fact, I often sang the song, it was His amazing grace that has brought me safe thus far, but there is still some grace that's going to be revealed when Jesus comes back. Hello in here. I can't afford to try to please the world to the degree that I miss my grace when Jesus comes back. Peter is encouraging God's children. Gird up the loins of your mind. Put around your mental capacity what you need to so you can hold yourself to a higher standard of morality. Gird up, tuck in your vesture so that you won't constantly trip over the same thing over and over again. Put it away, tuck it in your belt so to be out the way so it cannot hinder your moving forward. Gird up the loins of your mind. As verse 14, as obedient children. We talked this morning in Sunday school that God has always required obedience from His children. In the Old Testament, God told Moses to speak to the rock.
Yes, He did.
Moses decided he was tired of dealing with these hard-headed folk. Moses decided they done got on my last nerve. And whenever you allow folk to get so beside you that you can't do what God wants you to do, you done went too far. Moses, instead of speaking to the rock, hit the rock. God told him, you ain't going over into the promised land. If you would have done what I told you to do, you would have been sanctifying me in the eyes of the people. Because you didn't sanctify me. Because you didn't do what I said, the way I said, like I said it ought to be done, you ain't going over. I'm going to let you see it, but you ain't going to step your foot on it. Y'all hearing this? Moses, the man who God showed up to in the burning bush.
Yes, He did.
Moses, the man that stood before Pharaoh and said, God said, let my people go. Moses, the man that had the rod of God in his hand, performed wonders throughout the entire land of Egypt.